Hello, my friends. This is Dr. Beater. Today is June 28, 1980, and this is my audio letter number 55. As most of you know, I am resuming the audio letter today after a silence of 4 months. My feelings at this moment are hard for me to express, but for all of you who have stood by me when it mattered most, I want to say a few personal words. Because without your loyal support, I might never have returned to this microphone. Just before I entered my recording studio last February 24th, I began to feel slightly ill. At first, there was only mild discomfort, but somehow I knew that it was something serious. I tried my best to record audio letter 54 while I was still able to do it. I got about two-thirds of the way through the recording session before I was overcome by a massive heart attack. I didn't want to let you down, but I simply could not finish. On the way to the hospital, I knew that I would not be speaking to you again soon, so I gave instructions for the release of the unrecorded final portion of audio letter 54 in printed form. During the time since my heart attack last February, my associates have released 3 progress reports to keep you informed. I won't go over all of that again now, but it was a dark and difficult time for a while, not only for me, but also for my associates, and especially my wife and 3 children. I entered those hospital doors on the brink of death, and I truly believed that I had failed in my mission. During at least the first week of my stay in intensive care, I felt no will to live. At one point, I was even told by my doctors that I had gone through death's door, yet had somehow come back again. The doctors were prepared for the worst, but yet something of a miracle began to unfold. From all over the United States and then Canada and then around the world, I began receiving messages of cheer and encouragement. Countless beautiful cards with equally beautiful personal wishes written on them. Telegrams telling me of prayer meetings on my behalf. Inspirational and religious books and pamphlets of all kinds. Letters and books with suggestions to improve my health. There were flowers. There were gifts. There were religious relics. On and on until it grew into an avalanche. For weeks, I was not well enough even to look at all these things. But I could not believe my ears as I was told what was taking place. I had entered the hospital spent and exhausted, convinced that all my work had been in vain. But several weeks later, when I left the hospital to go home, it was with renewed hope and determination to carry on. And in that spirit, I have been regaining my strength against all the odds. So it is that I speak to you once again today. That, my friends, is what you did for me. I will never forget all of you who stood by me in my hour of need. And I promise you that I will always do everything in my power never to let you down. It was 5 years ago this month, in June 1975, that I began recording my audio letter intelligence reports. It was a shaky beginning because I was recovering from my first heart attack. And yet, little more than a year later, I found myself at the Pentagon because of the audio letter. I had been invited there by the late General George S. Brown, then Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. My conference with America's top military officer was about the secret nuclear crisis then underway. Of all the information media in the United States, only the audio letter had made the crisis public. In audio letter 16, I told my listeners about the crisis conference with General Brown. General Brown was doing his duty by taking urgent actions to prevent imminent nuclear war. And yet, America's controlled major media said not a word. Even after Pentagon spokesman confirmed my meeting with General Brown to newspaper reporters, there was almost no publicity. From that point onward, America's fortunes have gone downhill steadily. Having staved off nuclear disaster for the moment, General Brown found himself deserted and alone. Within weeks after our crisis meeting, General Brown began to be cut down by bad publicity. He was quickly neutralized by America's enemies within. He did not even serve out his tour of duty except in name, and soon we were told of his untimely death. In audio letters 17, 21, 23, and 46, I revealed the facts about the downfall of General Brown. While America slept, our last great patriot in government was whittled down, taken away, and finally murdered. 4 years ago, the prospect of imminent nuclear war sounded unbelievable to most Americans. Something called détente was still in effect, or so we were told. But public knowledge is always years behind the truth. So today, war fever is all around us. This month, I'm beginning anew with my audio letter series. Once again, I'm doing so on the heels of a heart attack, just as I did 5 years ago. But this time, there is a difference. 5 years ago, very few Americans would listen seriously to warnings about secret plans for nuclear war. Today, it's a different world. We're all hearing about false nuclear alerts, worries over Russia's military power, and so on. Most of us are waking up far too late. We have waited too late to avoid many great disasters because they have already been set in motion. But if enough people wake up soon, there may still be hope that our planet will survive. That is the goal to which I dedicate my audio letter series from this day forward. As I launch year number 6 of my audio letter, I will try to serve you better than ever before. For that purpose, I'm now introducing the first change in format of my reports in 5 years. As you know, my standard practice is to present some introductory remarks followed by 3 major topics, and I will continue to do this. But from now on,